Hello, viewers. Not everything turns out the way you expect. Today, you'll see my attempt to make a Chinese fermented rice wine, that's Huangzhou, flavored with jujube, that's dried red dates. The theme of today is that things don't always turn out like you expect. This will be a 54-day adventure. So let's brew. So I'm going to be using this sweet rice, this Thai sweet rice, and I'm going to wash it gently for 10 minutes. This is 1.2 kilograms. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when I publish a new video on the subject of rustic Asian rice wine every week. And I really appreciate when you share this video wherever it is appropriate. Thank you for doing your part to spread the word about rustic Asian rice wine. So after washing, let's soak this for at least 3 hours. Overnight is fine. After it's soaked, drain and rinse it. Let it drain for 30 minutes. And we'll get the jujube ready. So jujube is Chinese red dates. These are dried red dates, and I'm going to add some licorice root as well, just whatever I have left in this package, which is 6 grams. And I'm going to add 4 pieces of star anise. So that's the flavoring for this brew. And I've got the steamer ready. I put the drained rice in the steamer, and I put the jujube and the other ingredients in the middle, and I cover it up. That's a dampened cheesecloth, and cover it up in the steamer and steam it for 30 minutes. This Thai sweet rice only needs 30 minutes to steam. And as we're waiting for that to steam, I'm going to get the yeast balls ready. This is not the right way to do this. This sort of breaks the plastic. Not good. So don't do this. But I'm going to use 2 yeast balls and 600 milliliters of water and half a teaspoon of wine yeast and 1 package of angel rice leaven. Now, the angel rice leaven is actually the same purpose as the yeast balls. It's just in a powder form. I just hope it's reliable. And now it's done steaming. The rice is done steaming, so carefully move it aside. Pull open the cheesecloth, lift it up, and I want to spread this out to cool to room temperature. So all those ingredients got steamed as well, so that's good. I'm going to add the rice to my previously sanitized fermentation jar, and halfway through I'm going to add in some of the liquid, push it down a bit, and then put the rest of the rice in. Now this is 600 milliliters of water to 1.2 kilograms of rice, so that's half the amount of water I would normally use. So I stir that up with my hand and close it up and put it in the cabinet to ferment. Now, I'm not going to stir this at all. I'm going to leave the lid closed and not stir this at all. So let's just watch what happens. I'm actually going to get a bit worried here because I watch it day by day and nothing much seems to happen. I can tell, tilting it side to side, there is a bit of liquid on the bottom. And I did make sort of a well with my finger in the middle of the jar. But the rice is not, the rice grains are still completely visible and it's not liquefying. So actually I am worried. This is not going how I expect. Just not much is happening at all, but I'm going to carry through with this brewing experiment. I do want to see what happens, but I'm not really feeling good about this at all. Hey, look at it. It's been 45 days, and what's happened so far? I still see all those rice grains. Oh, what? Okay. So just to summarize here, why am I worried? I don't see much happening and the grains of rice haven't broken down. I am worried that this attempt is failing. Is this fermenting properly? I don't really know. I'm following the style where I don't stir or touch it at all. And just not enough is happening. So what can I do? Well, it's been 54 days. I'm going to filter and bottle it and see if anything has fermented, just to follow through with this experiment. So I boil my nylon filter bag, open up the jar, and take a look. Well, there's liquid in that well. And I'll take a sniff. It's actually very fragrant. It smells great. I hear nothing. There's no bubbling, but it smells great. So I'm going to try to pour that into the filter bag. I'm going to scoop out the rest one bit at a time here. I'm not crushing the rice here. I still see all the rice grains. Even though it smells good, this doesn't seem like a complete fermentation. Okay, well, we'll see in a little bit. Let's just get everything out of this jar into the filter bag. You can see what's leaking out of the filter bag is already a nice amber color. It's quite dark and rich color filtering out of this. So I'm going to get what's at the bottom of the jar here, and okay, so that's good enough. That jar is empty. So let's squeeze this and see what liquid we can get out. So it's dripping out. The initial part is good. So this first part comes out very easily, but the lees is wet and heavy. I don't want to squeeze this too much. It was starting to get starchy squeezing out. This is way more lees than normal. So let's see what the output is. So I'm just going to have 1 liter bottled here plus a bit extra in this bowl. So I'm going to taste this bowl. It actually tastes really good. But I'm going to save the lees. I'm going to use this later because this has lots of flavor in it. This is going to be good. I don't know, for baking or for cooking of some kind. I'm going to be able to use this. I'm going to freeze this and use it later. But this is the result. I only get 1 liter of output and a lot of lees. So that part is disappointing. But the smell and the taste of the alcohol I get out of this is great. So it's sort of surprising. What is going on here? Why did this happen? Well, the ratio of rice to water here, I used very little water, half as much water as rice. So it ends up being a very sweet brew. And I think that sweetness ended up stopping the fermentation early. And so it didn't get very far. I ended up with a very sweet and fragrant brew, but not the maximum amount of alcohol. So I think that's the result I get. But I'm going to taste this. I'm going to do the official tasting right now. So it's been 2 days, and take a look at this. Notice the color of the clear wine is it's so orange. And it hasn't settled that much. I guess I was really, I was trying not to squeeze it too much when I was filtering it, because when at that stage it was pushing out a lot of gooey starch, and so I stopped filtering at that point. And I end up with this 1 liter only, plus a bowl. And the bowl I had was very tasty 2 days ago, but now I'm going to taste this, do the official taste test here. I'm going to drink it as a cloudy wine. There's not much of the clear wine anyhow, and I think this is going to be more appropriate as a cloudy rice wine. So that's okay. This is a kind of Huangzhou, and this a kind of fermented Chinese rice wine. Not too strong, and Huangzhou can be cloudy. That's okay, and that's what this one is. And I'm not going to dilute it. I think for Chinese style Huangzhou, it should not be diluted. And there's no carbonation in it. Okay, you can see here it is a rich color. This is a rich, creamy, peachy kind of color, and it smells great. This is a kind of flavor that I like. This jujube, licorice, and the star anise. Good combination of flavors, and very fragrant. So I like this, and it smells sweet. Yeah, it does smell sweet. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually quite a bit of herbal ingredients. Yeah, so this has more than enough flavor. I used 100 grams of jujube. Maybe I didn't need to use so much, but oh yeah, there's lots of flavor in here. Okay, so this is sweet. It has a good amount of alcohol, but it did stop fermenting at some point and just became sweeter and sweeter without that extra sugar turning to alcohol. And that could be because of the rice-water ratio. This is the proportion of water was relatively low in this brew. And also, I did not touch it after I mixed it initially. After that very first day when I mixed everything together, I just kept the lid closed, and I did not stir it a single time. So there wasn't the that okay. So with that proportion of water, eventually the sugar builds up, and I think that ends up cutting off the fermentation. That ends up killing off the yeast at a certain point, and they're not around anymore, and all you get is the sweetness after that point. And because of that, the output of this recipe was relatively small, only 1 liter of wine for 1.2 kilograms of rice. And I had a lot of the zao left over. Now that leaves the leftovers. You can use that for cooking. Also, I think this recipe where you don't use a lot of water, you end up with a lot of leftovers in the jar. That's an appropriate recipe for a situation where you expect to be cooking with the leftovers. You don't mind that you have this rice left over because the rice is sweet and very flavorful, and you can use it to cook things. You can cook eggs with it. You can cook all kinds of things with it, or you can just have it like a dessert because it is so sweet. It is tangy. Yeah, it is appropriately tangy. The overall effect is quite fruity, actually, like a mango drink. Now, the aftertaste is a bit medicinal because of the herbal ingredients, the licorice and the star anise. That's the aftertaste. But I like that flavor. Yeah. And the feel is quite smooth. The The mouthfeel is very smooth. It's not grainy. Smooth and pretty thick and fruity, and with the herbal taste at the end, medicinal taste. Okay, so I like this flavor, and I like this recipe, except that I end up with so much leftovers. And it is going to be, I did save the leftovers. I am going to try to use as much of it as I can, but it's harder for me to use it up because I don't have I don't cook in that style every day, and it's going to take more effort for me to use these leftovers up because the leftovers are very flavorful. I think I'm only going to be able to use a small amount at a time, but that's okay. I enjoyed brewing this. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching.